Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that one of our admin received, and the translation reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story as anonymous? I am a 40-year-old man, so I used to work as a bodyguard, but now I own a very small security company. I do listen to a lot of programs here online. I never thought that I would share something like this, but this is part of my experience that I had working for this other man. He's not the only man that I worked with. I worked as a bodyguard. I learned this from one of my uncle who worked for a lot of famous musicians here in South Africa. So I was working as a bodyguard for this musician. He was a DJ. So he was like everywhere during those years when he was making a lot of music. He dominated every stage. He was in each and every club. He was on each and every radio chart. But behind the fame, that was when I realized that things they do, people they do things that can make them to become rich no matter what. In this world, when you look at someone, when you see them succeeding in life, don't automatically just wish to be like them. I also used to wish that I was like him when I'll be driving one of his vehicles, pretending that the vehicle that I'll be driving, it will be mine, your sports cars, your BMWs, your Audis, each and every asset that he owned, I would pretend as if it is mine. I looked up to him. He was my inspiration, but then I started to witness things that haunt me to this very day. The first time when I witnessed that this man, he was not okay upstairs. He had his own ex-wife, and he told me that I was supposed to monitor the ex-wife, for he suspected that the ex-wife was busy abusing the kids. I really got so angry at that woman when my boss told me that he knew he had tangible information and he knew that the ex-wife was abusing, beating up the kids and doing a lot of nasty stuff to them. So he said, you are going to be stationed close to her house. You need to check to make sure. So I was literally spying at this woman and even purchased equipment from Russia which could help me so as to snoop around to listen to a lot of calls that this woman was making. Not even a single night did I ever witness the woman doing anything that was bad to the kids. I only heard her just complaining, saying that my boss was not giving him a lot of money and was abusive as well. And then I started to notice more and more stuff, and I thought that I had been hired for what seemed like a dream job, for the money was good. I would get to travel with him, and I realized that things were not right. From there on, it was as if the Lord had opened up my spiritual eyes. There was this other show we went. It was a big festival. I walked into his dressing room and I will never forget what I saw. To this day, he was with a cat. Yes, a cat. I froze because my brain could not process the things that I was looking at. I closed the door quietly, pretending nothing had happened. That night, he went on stage like nothing was wrong, hyping up the crowd. I did not want to be there anymore. I saw him making love to a cat. He was holding the cat with his private part out of his zipper, and I saw that manhood of his going in and out of that cat. And after that, that was when I just closed the door. A few months later, that was when he asked me to accompany him to another country. He said that he wanted to go to Zambia, but we ended up being in Zim. At first I thought that maybe he was just preparing, or just as he had told me, time to cool down just before another tour. But we did not go to a hotel or anywhere else. Instead, we drove deep into the villages to a remote village. He said that we were visiting Ezangoma. I was told to stay in the car, but I saw a lot of strange things. I saw scary people. You know, there are those people that are like so mentally ill that they will be chained that way at that traditional healer's house that was really scary, made people that were sick from different illnesses. And I saw strange items, animal parts, pots of blood and herbs, and out he came out hours later looking different. You could not look at him twice into his eyes. He was like almost possessed. Every time we would go to that Sangoma in Zim, each and every time, over and over again, and his music will be played more and more. He will get more gigs on top of more gigs. That is what would happen after each and every trip that we'll take from Zim. This man, it was as if he was untouchable. I kept on witnessing a lot of stuff. But personally now, when I got married, during that time, my wife, she was the first one to tell me that personally I was being affected by my work. I was making a lot of money. I was really thrilled with my salary. But soon I started to see that things were falling apart. Every time that I would get paid, I felt like the money would only bring misfortune. When we had our first daughter, my child was always sick. During paydays, my child would get so sick and we had to rush to the clinic. One illness after another. My wife and I would fight constantly. I could not even understand why. I even tried to save, but the money will never last. It was as if it will just disappear. One day, that was when an old man in my neighborhood said to me, "The money that you are using, it is not clean, it is cursed." That was when it clicked with everything. That was what my wife was trying to tell me. Everything around my boss, it was just cursed. He was worshipping the devil. His wealth, his fame, everything was not real. It was built by demons. Everything that came out of him belonged to the demons. The final straw came when he asked me to deliver a package to someone that was in Zim. I took that package. He had told me not to open the boot of the car. Whilst I had my car parked, my wife started praying and praying and praying. And then my boss called me and he told me that I was fired. Just like that. I asked him the reason as to why I was fired. Later on, he told me that when a man has given you a package, you do not go first to your house, you do your job. I said, but I needed to go and collect my passport. He said, why didn't you call your relative? He did not want to see my wife at all. He hated my wife a lot. That is how I got fired. And then I started my own small security company. I struggled a lot. He cursed me. He would send me texts cursing me. To this very day, my company is too small. I try to rise up, but it is very difficult. If you post my story, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our brother. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. If you have ever witnessed any occultic stuff happening right in front of you, please do tell us in the comment section, or you can come to my inbox.